How much does an African overland safari actually cost? Is the tour price really what you will pay, or are there hidden expenses nobody tells you about? Today, we're breaking down the real cost of this 10-day African overland safari, from the tour price to flights, travel insurance, visas, drinks, tips, and optional activities, so you'll know exactly what to budget before you book. We're using this 10-day Windhoek to Vic Falls overland safari as a real-world example, but the same budgeting principles apply to almost any African overland safari trip. On this trip, we traveled from Windhoek to Victoria Falls via Botswana on a big overland safari truck. We took a game drive in Etosha and Mahangu, did boat cruises on the Kavango and Chobe rivers, went into the Okavango Delta where we did a Mokoro safari and a game drive in Moremi, sleeping at a tented camp in the Kwai area. We checked out the salt pans and took a 4x4 game drive in Chobe before heading to Victoria Falls, where I did a helicopter flight. It's the exact same trip if you do the camping or lodge options. So, what does all this cost? If you took the lodge option like me, you'd pay $3,505 per person. And if you chose the single supplement option, that would be an extra $283. If you decided to be more adventurous and budget friendly by taking the camping option, that would be $2,797 per person, with the single supplement option being an extra $172. Those are the full prices for the tour. But remember, many of the departures are discounted by 10% and some are even discounted by 15%, so you can bring down the cost a little bit. Now, after paying the money, what do you actually get? That's what we're about to dive into right now. Your money goes towards transport across 3 different countries, 9 nights of lodge accommodation. Ooh, okay, this is our room. Mosquito nets. This is my room. Holy moly, camboli, what the what? Professional registered safari guide and driver. Meals as specified in the itinerary. National park entrance fees were included, including game drives and safari activities. Yes! Okavango Delta excursion. Cross-border planning and logistics. Filtered drinking water throughout the trip. So you're not simply paying for transport and accommodation, you're paying for a professionally planned, fully coordinated, multi-country safari and all the friendships and memories that come with it, which often exceeds many expectations of the first-time safari goer. Now, let's look at the costs that aren't included, so you know exactly what else to budget for. Before your safari, you'll need travel insurance, which I paid $59 for, but the cost obviously varies depending on your age, country of residence, the length of your trip, and the level of cover you desire. Visas. I paid $0 because I have a South African passport. But this obviously also depends on your nationalities, and many travelers will definitely need to budget for visas, so always check the official government requirements. International flights. For me, it was $164 flying from Cape Town to Windhoek. The flight costs also vary depending on your departure country, airline, and the season that you booked. Arrival airport transfer. This cost $30 and was a shuttle from the airport in Windhoek to Arebush Travel Lodge. Pre-tour accommodation at Arebush Travel Lodge cost me $90. Dinner is a variable depending on whether you book only a bed and breakfast or you actually have dinner included in your stay, so that will vary according to your appetite. You've obviously already paid for the safari tour price and chosen if you want the single supplement option or not. So during the safari, you have to pay for alcoholic beverages and soft drinks that are generally not included. I'm more of a one and done kind of guy, so I spent $40 on that in total. For snacks, it's also variable depending on what you would like to eat and how often. I spent about $50 on that. You have laundry available at some lodges, which was about $25 for the amount of clothing that I needed to get get washed. And then tips is obviously variable, but you want to budget for your tour guide, the camp staff, and the local guides that take you on like Mokoros and other activities. In total, I gave $150. An eSIM, I didn't spend anything on an eSIM because I didn't need that connectivity that much, and there's Wi-Fi at most of the lodges, so that depends really on your connectivity needs and research for your own providers. Souvenirs, this is where I spent a boatload of the money, and it was $262. This is because I'm always getting stuff for my family and myself to remember the tours and trips. Optional activities, the Mahangu National Park game drive is $49, an optional activity on day 3. The Chobe National Park game drive was $62. That's a 3-hour game drive on day 9. Victoria Falls Sunset Boat Cruise is about $60 with a $12 park fee, which was a nice relaxing sunset cruise that I did on actually my last day of the safari. That was great. I also had a Victoria Falls helicopter flight, which was $150. The Flight of the Angels, and was by far one of my highlights of the safari. Option activities that I didn't do, like the Okavango Delta scenic flight, which is from $165. You can do a historical bridge tour of Victoria Falls for $55. The bungee jumping or bridge swing off the Victoria Falls bridge, where you just throw yourself over and have a blast, that is $168. You can do a guided tour of the Victoria Falls, which is $33 plus the park fee, whatever it is at that time. And this is a guided walking tour of the national park, and it's super amazing. I love doing this one. The Chobe National Park day trip, this is from $240 plus the park fees. Basically a full day excursion into Botswana. Typically this includes the transfers, the game drive, the boat cruise, and lunch. So but you just need to double check what it actually includes, but that's what's generally included. And the green seed for $20. This is to offset your carbon contributions. After your safari has ended, you will need post-tour accommodation. This was $140, which was one night at the Shearwater Explorer Village in Victoria Falls. For post-tour dinner, I spent $47. The departure airport transfer from the Shearwater Explorer Village to Victoria Falls International Airport was $50. And then again, obviously flights, which was $401, which took me from Victoria Falls to Johannesburg to Cape Town. And obviously costs will vary depending on your destination, the airlines, and when you actually do the booking. Here's some useful ways that you can save money during your safari. Book flights well in advance. You often get them at a discount. Travel during the shoulder season. Prices are often cheaper than going in the peak season. Skip the priciest optional activities even though they look irresistible. Share accommodation where possible. Limit your alcohol purchases. Bring reusable water bottles and your own snacks so you don't have to buy every time. And decide on the optional activities you want to do before traveling, because in the heat of the moment, everything seems like a good idea. So here are the 3 different traveler profiles that you'd get on safari. If you're a budget traveler, that'll look like fewer drinks, no optional activities, and minimal shopping. The average traveler will have some drinks, 1 or 2 optional activities, a few souvenirs. That's where I fall in. Then there's the bucket list traveler. You're gonna do premium activities, regular drinks, shopping, and treat yourself spending. So all the gifts and goodies that you can imagine. The good thing about a trip like this is whatever type of traveler you are, there will be something for you. With that out the way, it's now time for the final budget summary. This is the tour price, either for lodge with a single supplement or camping with a single supplement. Then flights, we have from around $700 to $2,000. That is a return ticket depending on where you're flying from and when. Travel insurance, it depends on the level of coverage, your age, and how long you're traveling for, but I would put it usually around 4 to 10% of the total trip costs. Visas, you have to check exactly the specific prices and requirements with your government. Personal spending is totally up to you, but for me it was $527 during the tour. Optional activities, this can range anywhere from $0 to $1,000. So it is up to you which activities you'd like to do. For me, I spent about $333 on my optional activities. And after the tour, transfer and accommodation was about $250. So if you're a budget traveler, your estimated total budget would be between $3,500 and $4,285. If you're an average traveler, it would be between $4,285 to $5,654. If you are a bucket list traveler, it would range from $5,654 to $6,400. So now you know exactly what to budget, and there shouldn't be any expensive surprises along the way. If the tour I spoke about in this video is within your budget and your travel style, I encourage you to check it out in the first link in the description, and ask us any questions about safari costs in the comments below, and also share which costs surprised you the most. And if you're sitting crunching the numbers thinking that you could have planned this exact safari yourself and saved some money, well, we're addressing that in the next video, so find out if that is actually true or not. Stay tuned.